on? Just give me a few of them so people will know that they've seen you on.
Well, most of the stuff that I did back-to-back series-wise was in the 90s. My show, Civil Wars, with Mariel Hemingway.
I remember that very well.
Law show. I loved doing that because I always actually wanted to be a lawyer. You know, I just wasn't conscientious enough to be that kind of a student. The other thing that I did during that time, which has now become a cult thing, is cop rock, and especially with the rise of Glee now.
Yeah.
I have people sending. There's been 3 newspaper articles, full-page newspaper articles, sent to my manager's office that says before there was Glee, and there's a picture of Jane Lynch, there was cop rock, and there's a picture of me and my buddy Larry Joshua, and it talks about the fact that 20 years ago we did that, and nobody got it. You know, so that I always want. You know, when you come to this town to act, you want to get the trophy. You're thinking Emmy, Academy Award, and all this stuff. And then when you have a family, it turns into, oh, okay, this is the way I make my living. You know,
right,
so the trophies don't become as important anymore.
No, the paychecks do.
Yeah, the paychecks do, and making a living. You know, what once was a lark is now a living.
Yeah.
And yet, when I get that trophy, I want to stand up there and say, thanks a lot. Cop Rock was the best thing I ever did.
I sure remember that show. I do.
You know, nobody got it. I remember sitting in the upfronts, which is where they bring all the shows together and all the stars, and with all the advertisers and affiliates throughout the country, so that they can see what's the, what the new shows are going to be, and so that they know how they can sell it within their time frames.
Yeah, they know.
And I was sitting with the affiliates from Sioux City, Iowa, and there's the last scene in Cop Rock. Randy Newman did the music for the pilot. Brilliant Academy Award winner. We had 2 other Academy Award winners that were writing music for that show, Donnie Markowitz and Amanda McBroom. So the last scene in Cop Rock, a wonderful, wonderful singer and actress named Kathleen Wilhoit sings a Randy Newman lullaby to her baby and sells it into adoption for drug money for like $200. Without, in my most objective eye, outside being part of that show, it's one of the greatest moments in television ever. And you could hear a pin drop. And this guy from Sioux City, Iowa leaned over and he said, "Oh, hell, she wouldn't sing when she sells her baby."
Oh, God.
So I said, okay, we're dead in Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah, oh, God. Oh, my God.
You know, so, and then, of course, what we talked about, Walker, Texas Ranger before, I loved doing. That was the most fun I've ever had. I did a bunch of cable movies, one of which I got to do something that most actors have to be a little bit higher up on the food chain than I to do. It's a movie called Shelter, where I played a Greek mobster, and I spoke Greek and I spoke with a Greek accent. But you don't get to do those kind of things.
No, that's
you don't get to do accents or melodies unless you're Dustin Hoffman or
Yeah.
somebody else. So I got this chance, and I loved doing that. And it was a really good little movie. It's been on Showtime and HBO, and then I had my own comedy, my own sitcom, which was a lot of fun. Short-lived comedy called Joe's Life.
I remember that too.
And then just a bunch of pilots back to back that didn't get picked up, and just movies. And now I'm in sort of guest star hell or heaven, depending on how you look at
exactly.
it. One shot here and one shot there.
What have you got coming up?
I have right now. I just did an episode, and I didn't know it's already on, of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's the biggest show in the world right now. I didn't know that, but they let me know it when I came on the show. You're on the biggest show in the world, and it so happened that that same week, a movie I did 3 or 4 years ago just premiered on Showtime. I think it's called Circle. I'm up for something else right now. I'm just, I'm
you're still keeping busy.
Yeah, and I wrote 2 scripts, and both of them have some, it's the old, I hate to say that because the old joke. I mean, did you grow up here?
I haven't grown up yet.
Okay.
But basically.
Did you come up here?
I did.
Okay. So back in the day when you were my age.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
When we were younger, people used to come, actors used to come to Hollywood, and the guys pumping gas were also actors.
Of course.
Well, that joke has, evolved to now all actors have a script. It's the same thing.
That's pretty much it, too.
Yeah, so I hesitate to say that sometimes, but we do have some heat on both of these scripts. One is somebody at CAA is willing to look at, and I'm like, well, CAA, sure, come and take me for a ride, you know?
I wrote one about 10 years ago about wrestling and vampires.
Oh, yeah?
And it's good. And it's really good because I wrote it. But you've got two cults. You've got wrestling has a cult, and you have vampires, horror.
Yeah.
The two together work.
Yeah.
And right now, for a low-budget film, that would probably do all right. But go find the money.
Sure.
That's the thing.
Well, I'm going to do a movie back east with Joe Mantegna, another friend of mine, Isabella Hoffman, who was on
I know
Dear
Isabella.
John.
Yeah.
And more recently on Homicide, and I think Eric Roberts is going to be in it too. And this is probably $250,000, whatever it is. We're going to run and gun at the Jersey Shore. I'll be back home. And a good friend of mine wrote it and is directing it.
I know Eric. There's a character.
That's what I hear.
I used to work out with him at Gold's.
Oh,
I got him out of 3 fights in there.
I bet you.
And I saved him, and he never forgot it.
Yeah.
He just gets in trouble.
Yeah.
And he says, not my fault.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't.
Well, you know what?
It really wasn't his fault.
You know what? I can agree to that to a certain extent. But some people, and I'm not saying this is him, but there are some people who don't understand the energy around them and what they bring to them sometimes. And I mean, I could tell you what, just at the gym alone, when there's some elderly women or some younger Latinas or some homies from the neighborhood, and I want to share the machines, and they've not been taught that, you're supposed to do one set, jump off.
Let me work in with you, please. Yeah.
And no, I'm using it. I'm going, dude, you're not using it when you're resting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've adopted this thing, and it's worked almost 100% of the time. If I'm waiting for somebody, what I'll do is I'll say, you're not doing that just right. Let me show you how to do it, because it's more efficient the way the machine was constructed to do it this way, and you'll feel it more.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're right. Every time I walk up to the machine after that, they'll get off and they'll let me off.
Oh, you want to do your set?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I mean, some of my friends who are in there who just, who stare people down and do this, I go, dude, you can't, it's not going to happen.
I'm telling them, I said, trust me, I'm older, I've been there, I know what I'm talking about. And they go,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because you have something to sell, too. When you're telling somebody something, you're selling, exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
same thing with me. I'm at least having an athletic body,
Yeah.
and they know that I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And if I'm there to help them rather than to scoot them out, it's a big difference,
Well, we're running out of time,
Okay.
but this has really been great.
I hope you got something worth broadcasting.
We got something worth broadcasting. No, this is good. Good information. I mean, all the way around from acting to working out to nutrition, that all falls together.
Yeah.
And being your own person and projecting yourself, because everything you do with bodybuilding or working out and diet and acting, it's in the world. That's your persona. That's what you take out. If you don't use it for wrestling or acting, you'll use it to go get a job.
Yeah.
Or use it in just dealing with everyday people and your home life. You have to be that unique person that has something to bring out. And what you've done is develop that through what you've been doing, as I have as well. And people who watch Rick's Corner say, you always get this great information. Well, this is good information.
Yeah.
People just don't hear this all the time.
Yeah.
I deal with so many kids whose parents don't even talk to them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really sad. I mean, I'll make this real short, but I had a phone call at 5:30 in the morning last week from a 12-year-old boy on the East Coast, and I didn't answer it. I heard my vibrator go off.
Yeah.
I called him back at 8:30 and asked if he called, and he goes, yeah. I said, why did you call me at 5:30 in the morning? I don't know. I said, where are you? He says, in New York. I said, it's not right. He said, well, I don't know what time it is. I said, you called an 818 area code, did you? He says, yeah. I said, did you bother to see it's California? No. I said, why not? Why don't you do your homework first and then follow through like that? I said, it's just not right. And you're 12 years old. No, you can't come out here and train with me unless your parents bring you. It's going to cost them too much money, and you're wasting my time. I'm sorry, goodbye. 3 minutes later, his mom calls me back. Why were you rude to my son? I said, because he was rude to me. You didn't train your son right to call people at 5:30 in the morning. Well, he didn't know. I said, well, why didn't you tell him? Why don't you ask him what number he's calling and who you're calling, and you can't call him this early in the morning? I said, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and you need to educate your child. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm going back to sleep. Goodbye. Bang. I hung up.
Well, there's I have a good friend. I met him on that movie Shelter. This guy was a decorated Marine. He was Marine Force Recon, which, if people don't know, if you saw the movie Apocalypse Now, the Charlie Sheen character is that guy. They drop you in the middle of a jungle with a dossier, a knife, and a gun, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if you get caught, we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So this guy made some bad choices when he got out of the service. A decorated Marine. He ended up getting involved with the Escobar drug cartel. He went to jail for 11 1/4 years. He just came out when he was one of my bad guys on this movie. And now what he does is He goes around the country. His name is Dale Messmer. He goes by Mad Dog, and he has this place, this site called Straight Talk Outreach Program. Stop. He goes around the country speaking to kids in junior high school and high school and telling them exactly what's going to happen to them when they get to prison, not if.
Yeah.
Okay? And the one thing that he says is right in keeping with what you just said. He said, if I could get my hands on these kids' parents,
Exactly.
I would solve all their problems.
Exactly.
You know, and so, you know, I mean, it's tough raising a kid, believe me. I raised 3 of them, you know, and they're in their 20s, and it's still tough, you know. But
Me
I
too.
think there's one thing that you command, Mad Dog commands, and maybe people like me command too. There's an interesting paradox about being athletically built, a bodybuilder, or having a strong presence.
Yeah.
Is that if you're a good person and interested in someone else's life,
Yeah.
they're not expecting that, and they throw themselves wide open to you because you look like this tough guy who's not going to be interested in anything.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you want to share your life experience with them. They're like, boom.
And they want to hear it.
Yeah. I went once, after this I'll let you go. We have this ministry at our church where we go and visit juvenile hall once a month. And I remember one time, I had been going there for a while. And this one kid sat down and we were talking one-to-one. He goes, hey man, how come you're here, you know? And I go, you know, we come here just to talk to you guys. I'm not peddling religion or anything like that. He goes, no, I know you're here. How come you're here? You know, like really indicting me. It was the first time that ever happened. So I looked at him and I said, you know what, man? I got 3 little boys at home. Anything you can tell me to keep their asses out of here, I'm willing to listen to.
Great.
And he, boom, his heart opened up and he was talking to me for 40 minutes, and by the end of the time, he was telling me what he thought I wanted to hear. And don't tell him, you know, to hang out on the corners, go to church, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
The first time this kid got to talk to an adult
Yeah.
about what his life was about and what he needed. And it was only because that was an improv, by the way.
Yeah.
It was, you know, it was from my heart, but it was something that was improvised.
Great response, though.
You know?
Great response.
So.
Well, he was dropped in the jungle with a knife. I was dropped in Venice with a hair blower and a mirror. And I made it work from there.
Listen, man, I used to look at you on the magazines way back when and go, that's what I want to do.
Please don't say way back when.
Well, it's last week.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching Rick's Corner. I'm really thrilled I have Peter here. And say goodbye, Peter.
Goodbye.
And stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you the next time we have a show. Bye-bye.